Greetings, dear learners. This is Faculty of Psychology at SRN International School, Jagatpura, Jaipur, Rajasthan. This video is about the Attitudes chapter of Class 12th subject Psychology. In this video, we are going to discuss the nature and formation of attitudes, attitude behavior, link, and strategies for attitude change. This is one of the most important chapters of psychology, and it is a brief introduction about this chapter in this video. First of all, we are going to answer this question, that is, what is attitude? We all have wondered various things about attitude, and we have also used this word a lot in our day-to-day life. I just want to tell you that attitude is a leaning toward or against some attitudinal object. The study of attitudes is at the core of social psychology. Attitudes refer to our evaluation of people, groups, and other types of objects in our social world. Attitudes are an important area of study because they impact both the way we perceive the world and how we behave. Some of us try to define attitude in a very detailed manner. So, all of us like some things and dislike others. For instance, we may like a particular sport team, that is A, and might dislike another, that is B. And a social psychologist would say that we possess a positive attitude towards team A and a negative attitude towards team B. Attitude is like an overall evaluation of a stimulus. All these attempts have been to describe and answer this question, that is, what is an attitude? In their influential book, The Psychology of Attitudes, Eagly and Chaikin 1993, Part 1, define an attitude as a psychological tendency that is expressed by evaluating a particular entity with some degree of favor or disfavor. Inherent in this definition is the idea that reporting an attitude involves the expression of an evaluative judgment about a stimulus object. In other words, reporting an attitude involves making a decision concerning liking versus disliking, approving versus disapproving, or favoring versus disfavoring a particular issue, object, or person. I hope that you all have understood what is an attitude, because several attempts have been made to answer this simple question. An attitude, when conceptualized as an evaluative judgment, can vary in two important ways. First, attitudes can differ in valence or direction. Some attitudes that a person possesses are positive, like our attitude towards sports team A, that is the example we have seen a few slides before. Others are negative, like our attitude towards team B, and yet others are neutral, like our attitude towards eating fried foods. Second, attitudes can differ in strength. For example, while one person might feel strongly about a certain topic, for example, demonetization, a second person might feel much less strongly about the same person. Because these two people are different from each other, these two can hold different views regarding various topics, right? So that is how attitudes can also differ in strength. One might hold a stronger attitude towards something, and the other might hold a very less feel very less about the topic. Now, another question, that is, can anything be the object of an attitude? Basically, any stimulus that can be evaluated along a dimension of favorability can be conceptualized as an attitude object. As noted by Eagly and Chaikin 1993, some attitude objects are abstract concepts. For example, liberalism. Others are concrete. For example, a computer. Furthermore, one's own self, for example, its self esteem, and other individuals, for example, a particular politician, can serve as attitude object, as can social policy issues, for example, capital punishment and social groups. Now, there are some key learning factors regarding attitude. So, reporting an attitude involves the expression of an evaluative judgment about a stimulus object. Attitudes differ in strength and balance. Any stimulus that can be evaluated along a dimension of favorability can be conceptualized as an attitude object. I would like to elaborate the last point. That means anything, any stimulus that can elicit a response and is then measured according to its favorability, like if someone is favoring that topic or not, can be conceptualized as an attitude object. The contents of attitudes. I hope that so far you have understood everything that I have explained in the video. Now we are starting a new chapter, that the new topic of this chapter, that is the content of attitudes. So far we have seen that attitudes can be thought of as an overall evaluation. For example, like, dislike of an attitude object. This definitional perspective has generated a number of conceptual models of the attitude concept. Historically, one of the most influential models of attitude has been the multi-component model. Multi-component model of attitude, a model of attitude that conceptualizes attitudes as summary evaluations that have effective, cognitive, and behavioral components. These three components contribute to the formation and expression of attitudes. We are going to discuss these models one by one. We are going to start with the ABC model. In this, A stands for affective component, B stands for behavioral component, and C stands for cognitive component. According to this model, an attitude has these three types of components in, and then these three types of components, when put together, form an attitude. And these are, I will repeat: A stands for affective component, B stands for behavioral component, and C stands for cognitive component. I hope that you have understood so far. Let's move on to the next slide. First, we are going to discuss the affective component of attitude. The affective component of attitude refers to feelings or emotions associated with an object or attitude object. Affective responses influence attitudes in a number of ways. A primary way in which feelings affect attitudes is due to affective reactions that are aroused in the individual after exposure to the attitude object. For instance, many people indicate that spiders make them feel scared. These negative affective responses are likely to produce a negative attitude towards spider. So I hope you understood this example, that when we feel negative emotions towards an attitude object, we are going to form a negative attitude towards the same. Now we are going to discuss the cognitive component of attitude. The cognitive component of attitude refers to beliefs, thoughts, and attributes we associate with a particular object. In many cases, a person's attitude might be based primarily upon a consideration of the positive and negative attributes about the attitude object. For example, when one of us recently bought a new car, he devoted considerable attention to factors such as vehicles, safety records, petrol mileage, resale value, and repair cost. In this example, attitude towards the different cars were formed via conscious consideration of the positive and negative characteristics of each car. The behavioral, and this is the last component in the ABC model, I would like to repeat that. So the behavioral component of attitude uh, refers to past behaviors with respect to an attitude object. For instance, people might infer that they have a negative attitude towards nuclear power plants if they recall having previously signed a petition against having a nuclear power plant built near their neighborhood. So, if they recall that, then their attitude might be formed. Okay, the idea that people might infer their attitudes on the basis of their previous actions was developed by them. Let's revise whatever we have discussed here today. So attitudes have affective, cognitive, and behavioral components. The affective component refers to feelings or emotions associated with an attitude object. The cognitive component refers to beliefs, thoughts, and attributes associated with an attitude object. The behavioral component refers to past behaviors with respect to an attitude object. I hope that you have understood everything that I've discussed here in this video. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Please like this video, share this video, put a comment, and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.